So here's, I like lesson number 1 in pipe bursting, at least with a TRIC system.
Yeah,
with any system, cable system, we're detensioning. It's just like, you know, this bungee on a brick. Like if I want to lift this brick off the ground, there's significant tension before I even get the thing off the ground, right? So the same thing to an extent is happening as this cable is pulling the pipe through the ground. We're pretty much off tension now because our head is right here. But first thing to do, because a lot of times you have to detension when you're in the middle of a run, get our O-ring retainers off here. That's the first thing. Okay. And you notice as we were pulling home, I was staying at the top of the stroke, kind of short hits at the top of the stroke. Because kind of that's where you want to be. You want to be at the top of the stroke with the lower grippers free, because as you're pulling, of course, the lower grippers are free. And now I've got some tension on here. What I've got to do now, you see, the thing to keep in mind, we're feeding it back. A lot of times people get into their pants in a bunch, they get all nervous, they start hitting these things with hammers. All you do is break them. All these things are doing, this is the yoke assembly. All these things do is keep the grippers together, moving in unison, and have a lever, something to hang on to with our O-rings to keep contact with the cable. That's all they're doing, keeping like shoelaces. They're just keeping the grippers moving in unison and together. That's all they do. They're not made to be levered. They're not made to be hammered. They're not made to be hacked in any way. You just break them, and then you're in another pickle. So what we're doing, I got tension on this. Why do I get rid of it? Well, I can go down, right? See, what I really want to have is this one free. So I'm going to go down. I have to have this one free so I can feed the cable back, right? So I'll go down, let these guys grab just a little bit. See? Just enough to release that tension. Now what do I want to do? I want to give this much cable back. The only tool that's going to free these cables, like these grippers, I'm sorry, the only tool that's going to free these grippers is these grippers. And when you're under load, the only tool that's going to free these grippers is these grippers, using them in the cycle. So now I got plenty of feedback. Let me feed it back. And I'm done. I'm done. I had plenty to now, we're at the end of the run, so this is pretty straightforward, pretty easy. We could be in the middle of a run and we could be under 20 tons of load. And we might have to repeat that cycle a couple times. Because you've got, like I said, you've got tension on that cable. And that tension is something that you've got to just deal with in cycles, in stages. So what we did is we fed it back, right, until we're free. Like I show you again, we'll maybe do it on the second sewer, right? So what we need to do is come up. These guys grip. Come up till that frees these grippers. Then keep these grippers open. Don't need to pull them out of the ram. Keep them open. We can't do it with this ram anyway. Keep them open, and then come on down and feed that cable back. As long as you have to. And then we're free.